Do you want to make money, but can't find your way of make money? Yeah.
Hi everybody, my name is Rupa, working as Assistant Professor in Chevron Engineering College in the Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering. I am dealing the subject renewable energy sources and today's topic is collector heat removal factor. Until now we are discussing the fin base energy Q fin base, but it is also having other energy. The useful gain of collector also includes the energy which is collected above the tube region. So the energy gain for the tube region is derived in equation 7. Q tube is equal to D into S minus UL with dimensions D. This is the outer diameter of the tube. S minus UL TB minus TA. So the total energy will be equal to, before we have derived the Q fin base and now Q tube. So the total energy gain of the collected tubes per unit length in the direction of X, in the flow direction of X, it is expressed as Qu is equal to Qu fin plus fin base tube energy plus tube section energy. So if you combine these two equations, you will get 8th equation. So the what is the useful energy we are gaining? It in the equation 7, it has to be transferred to the fluid that is passing in the tubes. But this fluid is having some resistance. So there is a resistance to heat flow to the tube from plant. So this resistance is mainly of three types. First one is we are using some bonding material between the plate and tube to fit the tube fixedly to the plate. So because the fluid will be flowing in the tubes will be dislocating sometimes. The tubes will be moving here and there sometimes because of the force of the fluid moving inside it. So in order to decrease the movement of the tube, so this movement of the tube increases the thermal losses. So we have to decrease the movement of the tube, so it has to be conformly fixed to the plate, bond to the plate. So for this we are using some bonding material. This bonding material gives a resistance to the heat flow to the tube. And second one is resistance due to temperature gradient. So the fluid what you are using, it is having some temperature gradient. So this offers a resistance to the heat flow. And third one is resistance due to wall thickness of the tube. Third one is due to the wall thickness of the tube. So we are using some thickness to the tube so that the heat inside the fluid will not be exchanged to the atmospheric temperature. So because of this we have to use some thickness to the tube. This wall thickness used for the tube, it also offers some resistance to the heat flow. Hence the combining all these restrictions is resistance flows. QU, the total energy gain of the collector in the tube can be estimated as in ninth equation. QU is equal to TB minus TF base minus fin temperature by 1 by CB plus 1 by pi di HFI plus 1 by CW. We will see the terms in next slide. In the before equation, we are seeing some terms. So these are the abbreviations of the terms. CB means conductance of the bond. CW means conductance of the tube wall. Resistance and conductance are opposite in nature. And HFI, it is the local film heat transfer coefficient. So the bond conductance CB can be given as formula KB into B by Y. Again KB means bond conductivity, B is the bond length and Y is the bond average thickness. So while we are calculating the collector performance, this bond conductance is a very important factor. Okay, while describing the collector, while calculating or analyzing the collector performance, this bond conductance CB is an important factor. So simply in order to bond this tube to the plate, simply wiring or clamping of tubes to the sheets is not sufficient. Although this wiring and clamping results in significant loss of performance. Okay, so there will be some loss of performance if you simply use wiring or clamping for the bond. So for this we have to use some bond material. It is this bond material should have good metal to metal contact so that the bond resistance of this bond material should be less than 0.33 millis degrees Celsius per watts. Okay, so this the before stated that useful energy gain of the fluid can be explained with much more terms when we know the dimensions and physical parameters and the what is the fluid temperature flowing in the local tubes. So if you solve the equation of 9 before slide, and in that 9 we can get the value of TB value. If you find out the value of TB in 9th equation, and if you substitute that TB value in 8th equation, equation 8, finally we will get the useful energy gain. So QU is equal to, last equation, QU is equal to WF dash into S minus UL TF minus TA. This is 11th equation. You will see the terms, what are the various terms described in this 11th equation in next slide. In the before term, we have got the formula for F dash, we have got the expression of F dash. Here F dash is called as collector efficiency factor. F dash is equal to 1 by UL divided by W into 1 by UL D plus W minus D into F plus 1 by CB plus 1 by CW plus 1 by 1 by pi DI HFI. Here F dash is called F collector efficiency factor. So in this the denominator is heat transfer resistance from the fluid to the ambient air. This is 1 by U naught. So denominator can be defined as 1 by U naught. This is the heat transfer resistance from the fluid to the ambient air, denominator, and numerator is the heat transfer resistance from the absorber plate to ambient air. This is resistance from fluid to ambient air. This is resistance from absorber plate to the ambient air. This is 1 by UL, this is 1 by U naught. So totally if you substitute F dash is equal to 1 by UL by 1 by U naught, you will get total F dash is equal to U naught by UL. So as this is the ratio, it is dimensionless and it is the collector efficiency factor. So this will be as it is a ratio, it is constant for any collector designs and fluid flow rates. Whatever the rate of fluid is flowing in the tubes, this F dash remains constant for any design of collectors. And the heat transfer coefficient inside the tube is assumed as 300 watts per meter square degrees Celsius. This is for natural circulation if you do not use any forces. If you use forces circulation, this value will be 3 times more, 1500 watts per meter square degrees Celsius. And the distribution, the fluid distribution is there in the tubes. For temperature distribution in the flow direction of X, we are considering a energy balance on a fluid element. It is flowing through a pipe of length delta Y, and it is receiving a uniform heat flux QU, referred in next slide 3. So you will get the equation with this assumptions: M into Cp Tf by Y minus M into Cp Tf Y plus dy. These are the limitations by Y plus dy plus delta Y at Qu is equal to 0. At this condition, we have to derive these terms. Dividing the before equation throughout by delta Y, and we find the limit as delta Y tends to 0, and substituting this, finding the value final answer in equation 14 before equation, because we will get the value of Qu. So it becomes MCP dTf by dy minus Wf dash S minus UL Tf minus Ta is equal to 0. So this is the 15th equation, and these are the terms discussed before. Fluid flow for a length Y and cross section is delta Y. If these assumptions, above assumptions are made such that, what are the assumptions we are making? F dash is constant for any collector design and for any rate of flow of fluid, and UL is also constant here and it is independent of Y, then the solution of differential equation for the temperature at any position is equal to Tf minus Ta minus S by UL by Tfi minus Ta minus S by UL. So we can put e power, that is equal to here e power UL into Wf dash Y by M Cp. This is the 16th equation. So if this collector is having length L in the flow direction, before we are assuming X, here we are assuming length L in the flow direction, then the outlet fluid temperature Tf naught is found by substituting this L length for Y, for the value of Y in this 16th equation. So if the collector is having length L, then outlet fluid temperature is denoted as Tf naught. It can be found by putting Y is equal to L in 16th equation. After substituting, we will get Tf naught. Tf naught is equal to Ta plus S by UL minus S by UL minus Tfi minus Ta e power minus UL Fi Ac F dash Ac by MCP. So this is the 17th equation. These terms are here. AC here, AC is equal to area of the collector, that is equal to WL here, and the total useful energy collection rate QU finally may be described as QU is equal to MCP Tf naught minus Tfi. So substituting the value of Tf naught gives Tu is equal to, in 17th equation you got the value of Tf naught. If you substitute in 18th equation that value of Tf naught, then Qu becomes Qu is equal to ACFR S minus UL Tfi minus Ta. This is 19th equation, where here the term Fr is called as heat removal factor of the collector, and this is defined as Fr is equal to MCP by ACUL 1 minus e power minus AC UL F dash by MCP, and here I am taking M by AC, A suffix C, M by A suffix C as G into Cp by UL into 1 minus e power minus UL F dash by GCP. So this is termed as the removal factor of the collector, and this is the thermal analysis and total theoretical and practical analysis of a flat plate collector. In the next classes we will see second type of collector. It is concentrating collectors. Next type of collector is concentrating collectors. So until now we have discussed about flat plate collectors. These flat plate collectors are different from the concentrating collectors. These when we compare the flat plate collectors and concentrating collectors, when we both compare them, these concentrating collectors are more efficient than the flat plate collectors, because they will give more intensity of radiations, they can attain to large temperatures, and moreover the main advantage is they can have small areas of solar radiation collections. So in this concentrating collectors I am discussing about the focusing type. What is the focusing type? So this focusing collector, it is a device that collects solar energy. So this is also a device which collects solar energy, but the solar energy is collected with high intensities. High intensity of solar radiation on the energy absorbing surface. This specially uses a optical system. This optical system will be in the form of reflectors or refractors. So we can modify the flat plate collector. How can we modify? Means if a flat plate collector is modified by putting a reflection or refracting surfaces between the solar radiations we are getting and the observer, it can be changed as a concentrating collector. Okay, so if in between the flat plate collector, if you put a reflection or refracting surface between the solar radiations and observer, it becomes a concentrating collector. So flat plate collectors are having radiations of 1.5 to 2 only. But these concentrating collectors can increase this value of 1.5 to 2 to 10,000. Okay, so why this is increasing to such a value means, if you are getting the solar radiations, these solar radiations are forced to fall on a focused on a receiver or observer of small area only. So large areas of observers are not required here. All the radiation we are getting from the sun is made to fall or made to focus onto a receiver. Okay, so this receiver or observer, receiver or observer collects all the radiation, all the solar radiations falling onto it and concentrate this solar radiation, focus this solar radiation into a one point. So this increases by focusing the solar radiation into one point. This increases the temperatures to about 500 degrees or 5000 degrees Celsius. 500 to 5000 degrees Celsius or even more. So mainly, what is the difference of focusing type and non-focusing type means, in focusing type, it concentrates only the direct radiation. Okay, so we are having in solar radiations, we are having direct radiation, diffuse radiation, beam radiation like that. But in this focusing type, it concentrates only the direct radiations coming from a specific direction. Okay, so since the diffused radiation arrives from all the directions, only a very small proportion is from the direction for which focusing occurs. So any direction can be in the direct radiation coming from any direction can be collected by this focusing type by orienting the observer or reflector or receiver towards the direct radiation elevations. So this optical system directs the solar radiation onto a observer of smaller areas covered by the transparent covers. So with the use of this optical system, some losses are there. More advantages are there, but little bit losses are there. So what are the losses means? Including reflection and absorption losses in mirrors will be there. If you use mirrors or lenses, we are getting reflection or absorption losses. First one. And second one is the losses due to geometrical imperfections in optical systems. Okay, so this is the second loss. Due to the geometrical imperfections means we are not having the surface of the earth all in a even. So geometrical means what it is, the place where it is situated, the focusing type collector where it is situated, it will be depending upon the geometrics and environmental conditions. So some imperfections must be there, may be there in the weather. So these losses occur due to geometric imperfections. Next, optical losses are also compensated by flux incident on the observer surface is focused on a small areas. We are getting the optical losses also, but these are compensated by the high intensities of solar observer surface attaining high temperatures. So thermal losses will dominate the thermal losses are not bothered. the advantages dominate the disadvantages here. The advantages dominate the losses here. So thermal losses do not dominate as in flat plate collectors, and overall correct collector efficiency is very high. These are the concentrating and focusing type collectors. Next we will see types of concentrating collectors. What are the types of concentrating collectors we see now? There are mainly two types. First one is line focusing collectors and second one is point focusing collector. So this line focusing collector is having a collector pipe and the entire solar radiation is focused into a line, and onto the line a collector pipe is connected, and entire solar radiations are collected by this collector pipe. Next, point focusing means the name itself indicates that entire solar radiation is focused onto a point. So a small volume through which the heat transport fluid flows is a point here. Other than these types of concentrators, as per the number of concentrating collector geometries, main type of concentrating collectors are: first one is parabolic tuff collector, second one is mirror strip reflector, third one is Fresnel lens collector, and fourth one flat plate collector with adjustable mirrors, and fifth one is compound parabolic concentrators, CPC. These line focusing collectors we can sometimes called as parabolic tufts also. These use highly reflective materials to collect and concentrate the heat energy from the solar radiations. So these collectors are composing of parabolically shaped reflective sections connected into a long tufts. So a pipe that carries water is placed in the center of this tub, so that sunlight collected by the reflective material is focused onto the pipe and heat the contents in the pipes. These are very high power collectors and are thus generally used to generate steam for solar thermal plants, power plants, and these are not used for residential applications. These tubs can be effective when heat generating from the sun, particularly those that can pivot tracking the sun in sky to ensure the maximum sun collections. So these are the line collectors, line focusing collectors. Second one are point focusing collectors. These are large parabolic dishes. These comprises of some reflective materials that focuses the sun energy onto a single points. So the heat from these collectors is generally used for driving Stirling engines. Although these are very effective at collecting sunlight, but they must actively track the sun across the sky to be out of any values. So these dishes can work alone or to be combined to an array also to gather even more energy from the sun. If they are collected in parallel, the dishes can work in array. So all the energies collected from the dishes can be concentrated to a very point, so that the intensity of the solar radiations will be increasing so much. So these point focusing collectors and similar apparatus can also be utilized to concentrate solar energy for use with concentrated photovoltaics. So these photovoltaics will be discussed in next chapter for your subject. So in this case, instead of producing heat, the sun's energy is converted directly into the electricity. Okay, in this type, heat is directly converted into the electricity with high efficiency photovoltaic cells designed specially to harness concentrated solar energies. So we will see all the types of collectors now. So this is the line focusing, one of the line focusing collectors. This is parabolic tuff reflector. See the diagram, it is the cross section of parabolic tuff collector. Here it is the vertex. This is the parabolic reflector. It is also, it is the vertex. The middle point is called as here vertex, and this is the parabolic reflector. This entire is called as parabolic reflector, and the sun rays are made to fall on this reflector, and these are made to fall again onto a single point focus. This is the focus point. So solar radiation, what it is coming from the particular direction, it is all collected over the area of reflecting surfaces. So this is the reflecting surface, and we are collecting the solar radiation here. And this solar radiation coming from the sun ray is concentrated at the focus of parabola. So all the solar radiations are concentrated on the parabola. This is parabola in shape. That's why we are calling it as parabola tuff reflector. So all of these are concentrated on the parabola. So if it is in the form of parabola, that's why the name exists. The solar radiation coming onto the parabola is focused onto a line, here. So this is the parabola, this is the vertex, this is the focus point. All the sun radiations are made to fall on the parabola, and they are again reflected back to a line. Sorry, focus. They are reflected back to a point, that is called as focus, and to that focus a line, a pipe is connected. So most cylindrical parabolic concentrators are used in which absorber is placed along the focus axis. Above or below the focus axis there will be absorber. So it collects all the radiations. And a collector pipe with selective absorber coating is used as an absorber here. Dimensions of parabola tuff. This is called as parabola tuff or parabolic cylindrical collector. They vary over a wide ranges. The length of the reflector unit is about 3 to 5 meters, and width is 1.5 to 2.4 meters. We can use 10 or more like these parabolic reflectors, and all are connected from end to end in a row. So all the parabolic reflectors are connected in a row, and several rows. We can take 10 or more, 20, 30, 40 like that, and these are collected in a rows. Like that rows, there are many rows. There will be many rows. These rows are connected in parallel. All the parabolic reflectors are connected to end in a row, and all the rows are connected in parallel. So parabolic tuff reflectors have been made of highly polished aluminum. These are made of aluminum. So these are little bit lower cost. So, and the parabolic tuff reflector is made of silver glass or thin film of aluminized plastic on a firm base. Reflector is constructed from number of long plate strips here. This is a reflector. This is constructed from a number of long plate strips. Different number of means it is not a even surface. It is called as laminated like that. So number of reflector plates are collected to form this shape. So solar radiation is brought to a focus by parabolic tuff reflector. All the solar radiations are brought by the parabolic tuff reflector, and the main drawback is it has to be oriented in the sun's direction. So the sun must be in such a direction that it lies on a plane passing through the focal line and the vertex of the parabola. Always the sunrise should be facing the vertex. Okay, so if the sun turns this side, the parabolic reflector has to turn to this side like this and absorb the sun rays. Reflector tuff or collector pipe it will be located on the back side of this focus absorber pipe. It should turn continuously about its long axis. As the parabolic reflector turns, the reflector pipe also, the absorber pipe also should also turn along its long axis to maintain the required orientation. So both schemes are used in different practical designs. We have to turn the parabolic reflector and we have to turn the backside absorber pipeline. So either the tough or cylindrical reflector or pipe is turned by partially rotation around a single axis parallel to the trough length. So these are rotated parallel to the trough length. So tough type collectors are generally oriented in east west and north south directions. If you rotate it in east west, the collectors are laid flat on the parallel to the ground, or they are laid flat on the grounds in east-west directions. If you turn them to northwest directions, east-west means like this. Northwest means like this. Okay, so if you turn this in northwest direction, north end of the trough is raised. This is north side, this is west side. Okay, in west and north side, if you rotate, the north side, the side of the parabola which is in the north side, it is raised. It is somewhat raised up. It is raised so that collectors are sloped. All the collectors are sloped facing south, just like flat plate collectors only. So slope angle will be changed periodically because we are rotating the parabolic reflector. Our slope angle changes periodically and it is simpler but less efficient to use fixed angle design. North-south orientation permits more solar energy than south-east. If you permit the parabolic reflector to turn in north-south, then we can collect so much of radiations than in east-west construction. But so we have to orient the parabolic reflector absorber according to the sun's radiation. So construction will be somewhat higher for north-south directions. East-west means we do not have that much orientations, but in north-south direction, if you consider the north-south direction, the construction cost will be high, and it also requires large land area to allow for the shadowing effect of sloping turfs. In order to disappear from the shadowing effects, the northwest direction also costs more. And the increased separation distance between the rows of collectors also results in increased pipeline costs and greater pumping and thermal losses also. See, this is the cylindrical parabolic system. This is the parabola here and this is the pipeline. In this parabola we are having mirror strips. This is the observer tube. And this is the observer's shield. These are the stray rods. This is the chain drive, jack shaft and chain drive. So this is used to turn the directions of the parabolic system. Here the shield is zoomed to this one. Like this it will be there in triangle position, the shield here. So sunset position of the east-west reflector is same as the sunrise position, and little or overnight adjustment is required. In the night also we have to orient this adjustment. So in north-south orientations, the trough must be turned through a large angle from sunset to sunrise. If you kept in the north-south orientation, north-south direction, the orientation should be turned entire day